Guys, thank you. Welcome to our show today. And listen,
You don't know what it's taken to get here. You don't know.
sometimes, we can be late. I can usually get here at 2 o'clock, but because of technology and some different things that we're working on, it could vary.
We don't know.
Right. But
That's the thing about this show is you don't know because we don't know.
Well, Facebook tried to kick us out. You imagine that because of our new camera. Apparently, our new camera, you've got to have some kind of permission to do a live show through Facebook. So they kicked us out. But guess who saved the day?
Junji.
Unbelievable.
Junji.
He was over there. I've never seen him like that before. He was pretty exasperated.
I was about to take something out of his envelope. You know what I
Don't
mean?
do that.
And then he came through.
Don't do that.
So I put that extra $750 back in there.
There you go. A little extra for you. Good job, Junji. And everybody thanks you. And thanks for watching the show. Good to see you, Beau Bock.
Good to see you.
What's new?
You came back with information from a photographer friend of yours that said we should be facing a little bit more toward each other.
That is correct.
So then you went head on the camera. I took the advice, and I got myself a Kimbo here. You know what I mean? I'm looking at your visage. That's probably better. You think Junji, what are you, Matthew McConaughey or some shit?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I don't know.
By the way, did you see him on the sidelines again for the big game last week? He's a big Texas fan,
What a schmuck.
It turned out to be a pretty good game. How about your boy Ogeron, huh? Coach O.
Coach O gets him going.
Yeah, he does.
Coach O couldn't, X and O his way out of a paper bag, but he gets him going.
They got a quarterback, finally.
It's like, I think I wrote that sometime this week, that, look at it, Ogeron. When you look at the X and O guys, the Jeremy Pruitts, and Ogeron couldn't X and O, out of
what do you mean I couldn't X and O?
But he's got him gone. You've got great athletes at LSU, and he's got them knocking people down.
You think it's the ghost of the Chinese bandits?
That's always there.
That's right. They're just flying around the Tiger Stadium.
Mike the Tiger, right outside in his Tiger cage. You think he's not DNA'd with Chinese bandits? Are you kidding me?
Right. That's a good point. And there's nothing more deadly than a tiger with Chinese bandit mentality. But anyway, the thing that's different about LSU is they've got a quarterback. Mm-hmm. They can actually throw the ball and score for years with Les Miles. They always had defense special teams but couldn't score to save their lives. They're going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I think
definitely. So. Because, LSU, it is actually part of their culture, have always hit you. They've always been a very physical football team.
Like the Falcons. That's what they're known for. They're known for that, boom, punch you in the mouth. Guys like Brian Jordan, Scott Case, John Abraham.
They'd knock you ding-dong in the
Jesse
dirt.
the Hammer Tuggle.
They'd knock it. I'll tell you, we had it going on in the positions, and we had a culture, and now we're, you know what we are? You know what our football team's like? The internet.
Yeah.
You don't know. We got all this stuff going on. You don't know if it's going to work or not.
Think about
You don't know what's going to come up,
team.
and now all of a sudden you got to have a password. Imagine Matt coming up behind center. 11-22 Z with the $sign. Huh? You got to have a password to get the ball.
But I think about the whole thing, right? And you know much, much more than I do about the history of the franchise. But, we had season tickets growing up. We were big fans. But even, to hear about the dysfunction of the Smith family and how long that went on. And people were so happy to have blank and we've got our own stadium and all that. But I think about when he took over and what he inherited and where we are now and what we've gone through to get there, the whole Vic thing and then the Mike Smith and just everything that's gone into it. There's no stability. We've had no culture. No stability. It's just like we're freaking...
No identity. We are just, wisped in the wind.
I'll give you one more example. I've talked to two people this week since the Falcons game that were from other cities. They've been here their whole lives. They are Braves fans. Hell, they're even Hawks fans, right? But guess what? They both are. They're even Georgia fans, but they are NFL team fans from where they grew up. That's the one team that they haven't converted. You want to know why? And their teams are the freaking Vikings and the Bears. Like you'd have any reason to cling on to them because the Falcons give you no reason to jump on board.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, you can't identify with them because they have no identity. What are you watching when you watch the Falcons? You're not watching anything. You're not watching any sense of physicality. You're not watching any sense of unique design. You're watching a team that doesn't like the blitz. I mean, how can you play defense without blitzing?
Right. Yeah, you're right.
We're just running around out there.
Running around. And I think Philadelphia, much like Minnesota last week, was the wrong team. Philadelphia's got our number, man. I mean, they just do. They're a more physical bunch.
Yeah.
They've got consistency at the coordinator position, right?
Yeah.
We've got different guys coaching different positions every season.
See, when you've got a head coach who's got no confidence, and this whole leadership and bravado thing is all made.
Brotherhood on three.
Brotherhood
on three. 1, 2, 3. Brotherhood.
And that's really brotherhood, coach. Yeah. So it's all fabricated. There's nothing real because there's nothing real about Arthur's ownership. Arthur's a wonderful person. I'm quite sure. He $250 million from the foundation to charity, actually $400 million over the last 20 years. It's kind of like me sending $5 to the
Salvation Army.
Good luck. Good luck with this $5. Get someone a cup of coffee and a donut.
Yeah.
And keep the change.
And a hat. You need something to keep your ears warm in the streets of Chicago in the wintertime.
I wish look at me. I'm all carved up.
You know what
I have all this stuff from the sun taken off me.
Oh, yeah.
And I took
your
a shower today.
Stuff.
They took a shower. So I said, don't get it wet. So I've got one on my neck and one here. I've taken it on my temples. They've, I have more holes in me than Fosdick. and so don't get it wet. So I'm wrapping this thing up for an hour and trying to, an old cleaning bag, plastic cleaning bag. I'm cutting it up. Didn't work.
Right.
Didn't get all doused. He said, don't get it wet because that leads to infection.
So you're going to get infection?
Most likely I'll be infectious. It's going to be, I'll be kind of like Sam Darnold. Not knowing where you get around.
So what's the deal with him? So the quarterback for the Jets, former number 1 pick from USC, he's out for a while, I guess.
Well, I think he's out for the year is what I saw.
Who's their backup?
They don't have one. They're trying to get one.
Oh, interesting.
And
sounds like Colin Kaepernick is.
You know what? I put the blame on those dirty Jets cheerleaders.
But
you know what I mean?
They've got a bad rap. Well, ever since Joe Namath went there.
And Sam Darnold comes from the West Coast, goes right away, he's kissing with his mouth open. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That leads to germs.
And mutations.
Jumping back and forth.
Right. Next thing you know, mononucleosis.
Goodbye, Jets.
And then he's done. Well, not that they had anything going for him anyway. But seriously, they don't have a backup quarterback? I find this hard to believe.
Well, I'm sure they do.
Jin G, our producer's looking at the board, so if somebody knows if you want to write us in. We would appreciate the comments. You know what I want?
Of course they do, but don't forget, they just last year got rid of Fitzpatrick, and they brought in another guy to be, the backup, and then he just went somewhere. So I don't know who the backup is.
Sounds like poor planning to me. Vinny Testaverde.
Well, what would be good planning? Giving him a condom? I mean, what would be good planning? Poor planning. Guy's got mono.
You gotta have a backup quarterback.
Following him around the New York clubs with antiseptic? Come on.
Yeah, you keep referring to this as a sexually transmitted disease.
That's the way.
He could have gotten it from the subway.
Is it not?
Subway?
Subway? What's he kissing a bag lady going to work? Come on.
Come here, bag lady.
Come here. I've been looking at you, doll face, for quite a while now.
You know what I want the more that I watch the end of the baseball season? I want the Cubs to beat the Nationals. Well, that wouldn't work because we wouldn't play them. We can't catch. So the Cardinals are going to win the Central, right?
Yeah,
We're going to play the Cardinals.
And we'll beat the Cardinals.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We get Markakis back today, by the way.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Man, I love Nate. Right there in the middle.
We got lots of depth. You know who's really coming back now? It doesn't look like. I think he struck out 3 times last night. Was Riley, Austin Riley. Well, don't me. This guy's going to be something. This guy's really going to be something.
All right.
You did the same thing with me with Dansby. Same thing.
But Dansby hadn't had a hit in 2 months.
He's coming back from mono of his own.
Mono he's got
Whatever
now.
he had.
So now he's been kissing the bag
I'm sorry,
lately.
he had a bruised heel. He had a heel.
He got zapped by your boy.
No.
That's not how he got mono.
He actually, we're going to introduce you to a guy who helped Dansby come back. And he helped you come back. He's going to help Jing Jung friend with his Achilles.
Right. I'm the perfect poster child for it because I've got a heart. And the only thing that's holding me back is this Achilles Valentine.
Mm-hmm. The size of a pea. His heart is the size of a pea.
I will say this. If you're going into battle, you want me way behind you.
I want you back in the combat tent. All right? And don't tell us where to go. Don't tell us where you think the enemy is. Just sit there and eat your little pimento cheese sandwich. You're the only guy I've ever seen who travels with a sandwich. I mean, in a baggie. This is ridiculous. And a cold pack. Are you insane? This is not happening.
I'm prepared. That way I don't have to go stop, at Moe's or someplace like that.
Wow.
I got everything. And then I had some other things in there earlier, too. So all day I can pick things out of that bag.
You're a nutritionist.
Got to stay hydrated, too.
You're wonderful. Wonderful in terms of what you eat, what you put in your temple.
Let me ask you a question. So I'm going to name a player, and you're going to tell me whether they're on the playoff roster or not.
Well,
no, you look Chuck Oliver.
Chuck Oliver.
I want you to play Chuck Oliver.
Well, let me look up. Let me memorize some names. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Billy Hamilton.
Skinny.
I don't know what that means.
Skinny.
He's playing or he's not?
Oh, in the roster postseason?
Is he on the postseason roster? 25 players. You putting him on?
I'm putting.
Because you got Riley, you got Markakis.
I'm putting him on, but we're not putting him on because we really don't know how to use him. That's not part of our game.
I don't know how you don't carry him.
I love him. I love the running game.
Yeah,
it's like my nephew
and he
Billy.
Can play in center field.
Billy's the same player as Hamilton, except Billy can hit.
I mean.
But think about our club and our history and who we are. We have never done the running game thing. Never.
Would you start?
Even with Brett Butler and even with Dion and even with, we didn't run.
I would consider starting him in center field. I would consider starting him and playing Markakis in right and Acuna in left. I really would, man. He changes that lineup, man.
Yeah, but hey, listen. You have to lead him off, and you can't ever take Acuna.
No. He goes eighth. He goes eighth.
Or he goes eighth, and he'd be your second leadoff guy.
Right.
But that's not us though. We don't think like that at all.
That's fine. Keep him on the bench, but he's got to be on the postseason roster. Riley.
I think we're going to carry him because he's about to light it up again.
But right now, the season ended today.
Probably not.
But you think he's going to come out?
He's on the verge right now. I saw him last night.
Dansby's starting to come out a little bit.
Yeah,
looks like he hit a couple balls hard last night.
He's hitting everything hard. Yeah.
Hechiavera.
No,
you don't put him on there.
No.
Okay. Flowers and Cervelli. What do you do? And Flowers won you the game the other night.
Every time you rub your eyeballs.
He doesn't swing at bad pitches.
He does something. You know, what drives me crazy is he can't catch, and he's a catcher. I think it's like
Very challenging.
I think we mispositioned him.
I mean, they're running wild on him, and I think he's kind of a head case. And I think if he's out there and Brian McCann's your better option behind the, I mean, they both can't throw anybody out. That worries me in the playoffs.
Yeah. Brian missed a tag last night.
You know what though? That he'll never do that again. That was just a fluky deal, man. That dude laid up and he just tried to time it, and the dude had stopped and he missed him. That was a fluky deal.
No, I know.
Well, it didn't matter anyway because my next guy, I freaking blew it, Swarzak.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Is he on the roster?
He's on the verge.
Newcomb? Right. I mean, what about this guy, O'Day, the new guy we brought in? We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't really know, but right now he's on before Newcomb and whoever else is.
So you got 5 guys in the bullpen right now. You've got, Melanson. You've got Green. You've got, I think, Martin, right? The new guy. Mm-hmm. I think
pitched last night too.
77. Jackson, right? I think he's in there, and then I think
whichever
starter.
You got Minter.
Minter ain't going to be there. No freaking way.
No.
They're going to put a starter out there, whichever one's not in the rotation. Mm-hmm. So whether it's Tehran,
well, at this point it's Tehran, but I don't want to bring Tehran into a game.
So you think it's faulty?
I think Folty's going to get it. I think Folty in the bullpen. Julio did not look effective last night. I mean, it's such a fine line with him.
Right.
I mean, but you cannot early, be off a little bit.
But you know early, though, with him. But that's just, I'm with you, man. It's too risky. And
I mean, he's so hittable when he's not perfectly fine.
And I think Folty's crazy enough where if he got the ball in the postseason, I think he'd probably stick it up their ass.
Maybe.
I think
50-50.
Right.
50-50.
Yeah, but if he has a meltdown, the good news is that he'd be gone. That'd be the end of the Folty experiment.
Yeah.
I mean that. But I'm pulling for him, man. I'd like to see him get an opportunity because I remember a couple times in his career where I'd written him off and he had a big start and he freaking rose to the occasion. He did again the other night. So
well, you know what? If I'm starting him, I'd like to have a witch doctor behind the plate. Something.
Brian McCann is a witch doctor. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't know.
It's big in Duluth.
I know.
Go down Buford Highway, right there in Duluth.
You get a palm reading from him.
Yeah,
He's got a little table set up. The kids were selling lemonade to him. I was doing palm readings.
Yeah. He's got a Joe Boo doll like they do in Major League. Mm-hmm. But think about that. I think this is his last hurrah, by the way.
Seems like it.
I know he signed a 2-year deal, man, but I think he's out.
Seems like he's not taking care of his body.
No.
He's taking care of his beard. But he's not taking care of his body.
I'd like to see him. Seriously, I'd like to see him and Flowers both rest as much as possible down the stretch here because they need to be fresh, lose a little weight. Yeah. I mean, it's been a long year, even though they're splitting, man. To think that guys used to catch freaking 150 games a year.
You think maybe give McCann like some of those keto pills? They say that will burn fat. Right?
Oh, he needs those.
Keto pills?
Yeah. He needs all of it.
We need to put him in a state of ketosis.
But the one thing about McCann, though, if he comes up in a postseason at bat, the thing I like about him, if he needs to just make
contact, he's going to give you a good at bat.
What if I swear I've been waiting for this my whole life, and he can do it because he's such a good athlete. He's got great hand-eye coordination. In the playoffs, where everything means everything, if they put that damn shift on him, man, just right. You know what I mean? Right, God, please just do it, man. They're giving it to you.
It's not our. That again, it's not.
He's done it. He's done it.
I know.
I've seen him do it.
I know. And, even Freddie last night, specifically punched it to left. But that's not us.
We do a lot more of that than we used to. We do a lot more of that.
We did none. Well, we did none for years.
None. And the opposing teams knew it. They would play for a double play every inning because they knew we were just going to try to pull everything to the shortstop. Right. It was the worst. But I'm excited about the postseason, man. This time next week, we'll be doing our last show before the playoffs start. Mm-hmm. And then you got the stadium right down the street, man.
Oh, we'll run over.
Yeah.
We'll run over.
Be there. I'll be down there on the sidelines before the game with Jeff Hollinger and Chris Domino and Ed Mangan and everybody.
And
Blooper, Mark Bradley.
Mm-hmm. The boys.
The boys.
All the boys.
All the boys. I'm excited, man. I really am. I think this is a team that's got a chance if everybody's on the
I
game.
definitely am. But then curtailing my enthusiasm is the Falcons, which is
I've given up
tragedy.
on them. I've given up on them. I honestly listen, and I'm serious. The National Football League to me is so at the bottom of the barrel in my sports.
It's tainted.
Well, in my sports, like what's important to me, and the Falcons have a part of that.
Yeah.
But like I've just lost interest in it.
Goodell,
I really have.
Goodell brought a insidious disease with him when we took over. And it was nothing about the game or nothing about competition. It was all about generating revenue. It was almost like as if he was, the commissioner of General Electric.
Well, that's the whole
You know what I
league.
mean? You know what I mean? Well, because of him, he's the leader at the top, and this is the way
so
we
much
go.
money, man.
Look at Arthur. I mean, what right does Arthur have to own a football team? And you think the league would say to Arthur, you got all these clowns surrounding you. Let's beef up your football operation. You stay out of it, and let's get some football people in there.
Yeah.
Something.
Right.
But that's all curtailed. That's all.
I'm over it, man. I'm tired of putting energy
you can't be
into it.
Well, you got to put energy into it.
Have you been down to that freaking arena?
Yeah, I go down.
It sucks. It sucks to go down there and
Let
watch
me tell
a
you
game.
something. I'm getting $1.50 hot dog down there, and I don't care where you go. You can't do that. You can't do that. So you've got to have a football team,
Right.
with your $1.50 hot dog.
Let's go, Falcon.
Vendor, hey yo, doggies.
You watch a kickoff ball on Sunday Night Football at kickoff. There will be half people in their seats. Half the people in their seats. And then that'll last
Well, I
till
don't know
halftime.
because it's been all pre-sold, Hans. You may not show up.
Nobody's
Yeah,
there.
Right. Yeah.
Right now, you can go on the resale
Right.
market. There's a
Right.
ton of tickets available.
Right.
And it's going to get bought by Eagles fans.
Yeah.
And so everybody's going to show up late. It's going to be Eagle fans. We're going to get run out of the building. They'll leave,
Yeah,
in
but
the
let
third
me ask you
quarter.
a question. Here in your job, in your chosen profession, when you're not selling homes with little housewives and stuff, this is your chosen profession.
Not my chosen profession.
Don't you want to change it? Don't you want to do the right thing?
I have to have something. I have to have some dysfunction in my life. In between Georgia Tech athletics and the Falcons and the Hawks for years, and they've turned it around. So when I can really revel in the Hawks' success, like I went out and bought season tickets, I'm so excited. Like I can't wait. I watched every game last year, and I had to go through all those years of just sucking just to get to where I love it so much.
Not just sucking. They were actually.
Well, there was no
poorly
end.
operated as the Falcons.
There was no end
Maybe
in sight.
even as poorly operated
Bringing
as the
in
Falcons.
bad people, bad
Terrible
decisions,
people. Terrible people.
screwing the fans, everything.
Everything.
It sucked.
Everything.
Handled
No.
the media like
Yeah,
shit.
and that's why now that Tony Wrestler is taken as the owner,
Right.
he keeps a low profile. And,
I'm a huge fan of his.
I don't want to
Huge.
lose it because his front office, you got some dubious characters in there.
Yeah.
With big personalities and scheming outlooks and attitudes and personalities.
You
So-
need a couple of those people.
well, you do, but not in positions of making decisions.
Right, but what I'm saying is, I had to go through all that to really. I'm not any less of a Falcons fan. I've just given up on them. I've given up on this regime. I've given up on this stadium. I mean, I can't tell you how much I hate that stadium. I mean, I've been there 2 games. It freaking sucks. It is the worst environment of any sporting event I've ever been to.
It's like Grand Canyon. It's like rooting in the Grand Canyon.
It's just, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And maybe it's just for a different generation. I don't know, but it's definitely not for me at all. But I've given up. But when they come out of it and they change directions and they go, they're going to have a ton of support. There's a ton of us out there that love the team that are just tuning out.
See, but that's what scares me, Hans. I don't see the end. I don't see the solution. I don't see the change. Arthur's too arrogant to concede anything.
What if Rich McKay was just fired and they
McKay-
brought in a different football operations
Well,
guy?
Rich
Wouldn't that
McKay-
change everything?
It might. It might.
Because he's the one
Rich
thing that's
He's a
constant.
bad guy.
Well, he's the one thing that's
Yeah,
constant.
Right.
And it's so long as he's hiring these Bobby Petrinos and
Right.
he just hired a bunch of knuckleheads.
Jim Morris and no, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't see the end. But in the meantime, I can't stop fighting for it because you know what? It's wrong. It's evil. It's in terms of competition and man's innate nature to compete. This is evil. This is wrong. This is like not going about it in any natural way at all.
I just can't
It's
believe.
devious.
I can't believe the fans that pay the PSLs.
Listen, Hans,
I
the
don't know
fans
how
don't
people
know.
do that.
Fans don't know. We've got no newspaper. We've got no media. This thing right here, plus the commentary goes out every night.
Sometimes a week-old commentary, by the way.
Well, we just
What is-
changed. We just changed servers, suppliers, vendor. I don't know.
We're always looking for
whatever
a deal.
whatever this is. Anyway, we're going to MailChimp from Constant Contact.
We've been talking about MailChimp.
Well, as of Monday, everybody will be receiving their commentary via MailChimp.
Yours today was spot on, by the way.
Thank you.
It was spot on. It was
What
in
did we
regard.
talk about?
It was about the Braves going through a little bit of a lull right now because they're troubleshooting.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to find out who's going to be on this postseason roster while resting some of these
Mm-hmm.
guys. And they're going through a little bit of a lull, and that's fine because they couldn't keep it up like they were.
Timing is perfect because a lull is inevitable. A slump is inevitable. We're going through it.
You're not catching
Then we
the
come
Dodgers.
out of it. Then we'll go into the postseason hot.
Right. That's it. And that's on an individual level too, right? I mean, Acuna and Albies starting
Yeah.
to come around.
Well, just like we were talking about, like think about these young guys. In the beginning of the season, we're all full of piss and vinegar and energy. Now all of a sudden, more than almost 162 games in, you tend to slump. You
Sure.
tend to be not excited. So go through this now, get that out of the system, and
And
then
then go.
take off.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I going to say? I had a really good point. You would enjoy it, but I forgot, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
It would have been a first, right?
Yeah, that would have been good.
Would have been really good.
I'm disappointed.
No, what I was going to say is how important is it now that you knew they were going to get beat by the Dodgers last year, that experience that those guys got, that this isn't their first time, that they've been there. So I think that's huge.
Oh, it's definitely,
Huge.
definitely something
Or as you like to say, how you say it?
huge.
That was more of an H than
Huge.
That's usually huge.
Yeah, you mock me.
You will,
Are you mocking me?
a little bit,
Well, don't do that.
a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you hurt my feelings.
Andy Jordan the other day, we made that joke about getting abducted by aliens. It was a sensitive subject.
Oh,
He sent me a message and
Yeah.
said, hey, don't be sharing my probing stories with the
Right.
public.
because like really, what he knows, he was not supposed to divulge.
No. And here's the thing. If you're listening up there, he wants to go back. He wants to go back. You won't call.
And we want him to go back.
Yes.
So if you could,
Imagine getting abducted by aliens and maybe falling for one. And then the one disappears and you never see it again. What a
He-
tease.
you know what? He loved that 2-horn girl. He loved her. It was an affair.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't really have anything else. Just we got some big college football games this weekend. No, we don't. There's nothing. There's no
there's
big
nothing.
games.
This is it. This is the week. This is us lying in repose,
Oh.
waiting for the domers.
Oh.
And people next week will be talking about. But
What's the number on that game, you think?
the Notre Dame influence. It's Notre Dame won,
There's no way Notre Dame is favored by Georgia and Adams.
and Georgia's won.
I would say Georgia's probably 9 or 10.
No,
There's no way it's 1.
no. Oh, why don't you just bite me? All right.
There's no way. There's no way. Because Notre Dame, they've got a big game against New Mexico this week. They're like a 34-point favorite. Excuse us for the rest of you at home that are wanting something a little bit more fast-paced.
It's not. It's not in here.
'Cause
That's
it's-
next week.
Exactly.
Numbskull.
Right. I was wondering if you had a futuristic paper like they did in Back to the Future.
This thing. The last thing they are is futuristic.
Falcons win Super Bowl.
Whoa!
2084.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Congrats. What do you think it will be? Because tomorrow makes no difference. The outcome of
I think Georgia will be 9.
I don't think so.
I think so. I think you've been hitting the head too many times and think that Notre Dame can play on the same field as Georgia.
No, they can't. I think they can.
I don't.
Don't forget, there's only 2 fast teams up north: Notre Dame and Michigan.
Oh, Ohio State, they're not fast.
No, Ohio State's
Best athletes in the country.
No, best athletes in the country. What are you kidding me?
They get anybody they want.
I don't care. Georgia gets anybody they want. Alabama gets anybody they want. I mean, there are X amount of teams in the mix in terms of anybody you want. All right?
That's a bad example. If you're going to make that example, that's fine, but you have to include Ohio State in that conversation. That's just ridiculous.
Oh, stop. What's it,
It'd be one thing if you said like
factory.
Boston College and you're
That's
talking about Kankles and Izzo. Not Izzo.
Rooting for Ohio
Dazio.
State is like rooting for Penzo.
I hate Ohio State too, but that's not saying that they don't have the best athletes up there.
But how could they have the best athletes?
Because they recruit top 5 school class every year, year after year after year, whether it's Tressel, whether it's Meyer, whether it's the new guy, whatever.
Who's giving them that grade? One of your magazine buddies?
Well, one of your magazine buddies. I saw a couple of them laying around here.
One Phil Steele.
Yeah. I saw it was autographed too. You must know Phil pretty well.
Thanks, Phil. What's the biggest difference between Northern football and Southern football?
Change your direction.
Thank you.
You think I haven't been paying attention all these years?
At least you learn. Learn.
G. Change the direction. It's very important. COD.
We've got it. They don't.
Right? Yeah, Ty Gurley. COD. Right? Ezekiel Elliott. You got no COD.
No.
He's from up there.
He's a slasher.
He's a slasher.
Good night.
That's it?
Goodbye.
I wanted to talk about all the big games this week. You got Clemson, Syracuse. You got.
That's not a big game.
By the way, you've got.
Clemson beat them by 21.
By the way, Syracuse beat them 2 years ago, and then last year that was the closest they came to getting beat.
Oh my God.
And it's up there in that dome. Jim Brown's going to come down there and run all over Dabo Swinney. Okay? Do you understand that? Do you understand that? Jim Boeheim's going to run that 3-2 zone of his, and going to get those arms up in the air. They're going to score 40 points. That's it.
That's probably true.
Huh?
Boeheim has never been strong against Clemson. Never.
No, that's true.
No.
I can see that.
Yeah, so. Say goodbye, because you're embarrassing me.
No, we got big games. You got Florida, Kentucky.
I just said that's not a big
Florida,
game.
Kentucky?
Kentucky's not a big game.
It's an SEC
Kentucky
game.
just lost their defensive end.
Their quarterback for the year.
And the quarterback for the year. I mean, it's that's not a big game.
Alabama and South Carolina.
That's not a big game.
You're tough. North Carolina, Wake Forest. That's at 6 o'clock. That's at 5 o'clock game this afternoon.
Yeah, and
they're both undefeated.
And something you had that said it's a non-ACC conference game.
It's 2 ACC schools playing each other, but because of Notre Dame only picking and choosing which opponents they want to play, and not being a part of the outcome of the final season standings. Every year there is one of these games where 2 ACC schools have to play each other, and it doesn't count towards the conference standings.
That's wrong.
Stupid.
That's
makes
wrong.
no sense.
That makes no sense.
And they don't want to get rid of the rivalry, so they play the game.
Yeah.
But by the way, the winner of this game is 3-0. There's something to be said for that. Mac Brown. They beat Miami last week.
Wow, you get me all geeked up. I'm going to get an ice cream cake.
I'm happy for Mac Brown. I'm rooting for him.
I like Mac Brown.
So what's your problem?
Well,
because they beat Miami last week? Miami's 0-2?
Yeah. Well,
Miami and Tennessee 0-2.
But that's to be expected. See, I rail against that. I rail against people underachieving. I rail against the Jeremy Pruitts of this world who are stealing. I mean, literally stealing. And it's a shame. I mean, that guy, the only guy that Phil Fulmer interviewed, and it's a guy who they share the same agent. He gives a guy who's never been a head coach before $5 million a year for 5 years, and they stink, and they don't play hard, and they quit. I mean, it is the worst hire since
The last one.
Paul Johnson.
Or since the last one. Who was the freaking guy that lost control? Butch Jones.
Butch, yeah.
And then you had McElwain in Florida. You've had some bad hires in the SEC.
I'll tell you
And
what.
it's looking like Muschamp might be in trouble with South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not happy with what he's doing up there.
And the other thing is, you know what happened?
Because they've been passed by Kentucky, by the way.
You know what happened with college football is there's so much money involved that the school presidents got involved. And that just threw so much in crap in the ointment. They just college presidents are academicians. They have no they have no street sense, no country sense. They don't know if they can interview a guy till they're blue in the face and not know whether he's a leader or a non-leader, a good guy, a bad guy, an opportunist or not. They have no feel for that. Yet look at Michael Adams. Michael Adams is the one who hired Grantham. He hired the defensive coordinator for the head coach when the head coach seemed to be, running in place and not making a decision. He hired him. And Grantham and his agent went directly to Michael Adams. They didn't even go through Mark Richt.
Hey, by the way, Mel Tucker in Colorado. Did you see that?
Nice.
That's a big, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Happy to see him do
Good
well.
for him.
Yeah, because Colorado's a sleeping giant, man. They've got a great history to their football program out there. And the Pac-12, I mean, it's up for the taking because all the powerhouses aren't that good. USC, UCLA,
Why do you say it's
Oregon.
a sleeping giant?
I think they used to be a powerhouse.
Oh,
back
I remember, but that was a long time ago.
Did you ever see that 30 for 30 on that coach? What was the coach's name? It was Mac something. Coach Mac?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, I didn't
where he
see it.
recruited all these kids from inner city Los Angeles.
Right.
And he would drive them out to Boulder. And you
Right.
appreciate this story. And I mean, Colorado had nothing. They had no history of football. They just had a beautiful campus, and they hired this great, charismatic coach. And he would drive these inner city kids from LA to Boulder, and they would meet him, and he would drive them up to the top of the mountain, and he would sit there, and they'd look out over everything. He goes, "Why wouldn't you want to come here and live and play football for me with a bunch of other guys that you grew up with?" And they were like, "Okay, let's do it." They brought all these dudes from inner city, and they beat everybody's ass, and they loved him.
He was a religious guy.
He still is.
And came back. He retired to do his religious.
That's right. He and his wife,
convention,
right?
yeah. And that's why he got out.
Right, because God told him to retire.
Well, God said, how many touchdowns you can score with these kids? They're going to steal the football.
Right.
And then the game's over.
Right. Yeah, but these guys that played for him, they swear that he changed their life, and it was pretty cool. So yeah, they're sleeping giant. They got a little history there, and they got a huge pool to recruit from. If you're talking about Los Angeles and whatever.
Well, it's not like here.
No. I'm saying it's there for the take.
Yeah, but Colorado, it has some tradition. Yeah, goes back.
That's my biggest problem with college football right now is it's so top heavy. You got all the kids every year growing up together, playing in these 7-on-7 deals, and then they want to go to schools together, which is fine, whatever. But they're all going the same places. They're going to Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, and that's basically it. And so every year, those are the teams in the conversation for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. It's the way it goes, though.
Yeah, it didn't always used to be that way.
No,
did
it didn't really, I don't think. I mean, it's the first time I'm thinking about that. I hadn't thought about that. But times have changed so much.
Yeah, I just think the days of having a team come out of nowhere and just, run the table and knock off some teams and have just a real special unit of guys, I think those days are over.
Sarah, I think you see that coming from programs that have great leadership at the top. I mean, you can go do that. I mean, for instance, sleeping giant right now, which nobody knows about, is Georgia State. Georgia State can be giant. Right. They could be bigger than Central Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And Central Florida is a giant program coming from nothing.
Yeah.
But they had a strong leader like George O'Leary, just giving the program impact. And it all starts with physicality.
Right.
Now, it's a physical game. If you bypass that to go in a different direction, you're underselling your team. You're undercutting them. If you don't beat the other guys physically in a physical game, You can't win. There's only been one finesse team that ever went to the Super Bowl.
The Rams?
That's the Chuck Knox Rams.
See?
Not the Rams, but the Chuck Knox Rams. That's what's important.
The greatest show on turf, the Rams. They were up-tempo. Kurt Warner, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Marshall Faulk.
What's that got to do with Chuck Knox?
Nothing. The Rams. They were. You can't say they weren't an up-tempo team.
Yeah, but they were a physical team. They were a physical defensive front. They would tackle you and gang tackle you, and they would pursue you.
You don't have to yell at me.
Well, I mean, you infuriate me when you come with your little baggy sandwich
In my notes.
concept.
By the way, Falcons Eagles score prediction before we go. No, you cannot have a bite of my sandwich. I'll go first. I say Falcons lose 27-13. I say, or 27-12. I say they fail to put the ball in the end zone. I say 2 turnovers, missed field goal, and what's his name? He's taken out of the game either for precautionary reasons, or he gets hurt, or he's replaced by Ish Smith, and that's Devonta Freeman.
I'd say 32-13, 32-18, and it won't be that close.
So another job be like Minnesota, where the score doesn't indicate the ass whooping.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Where it's
No, right.
over.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No, you were totally out of the game.
Yeah. Called the dogs off.
Yeah, so we'll see you Tuesday.